you want to know what a hydroplane looks like skinned? There's part of it, the broken fiberglass. You can barely make out the Freddies on the side, and not exactly the ace of spades out there today. Not a lot left of that boat, and it's in the back, as a matter of fact. That's part of the wing or something that's left over from the pieces that flew off of the unlimited hydroplane. The Freddy's Club, again, Steve David, if you're just joining us, is okay. He's in the infield hospital. As a matter of fact, he is sitting down now on the stretcher, and he's going to be taken, as we heard, as a precaution. He'll be taken probably to the hospital to be checked out. Let's follow Steve David out before we go away. He did walk out of the trailer-type infirmary that they have here in the infield at Stan Sayers Pits. He's smiling, talking to people, giving them thumbs up, saying he's okay. Seattle Medic 1 personnel, however, will raise up the stretcher, the gurney, and they'll wheel him over to the ambulance and take him off to the hospital just for a preliminary check. And who knows, Steve David may be back before the day is over, at least to watch the rest of the boat racing today. Knowing Steve David, as good a sense of humor as he has and as much a competitor, he never, ever would want to leave a race day going out on a stretcher like that.
No, that's not the way you plan it when you come in here at 8 o'clock in the morning and take your physicals. But it's something that you know is, if you do it long enough, it's going to happen. And, you know, if you play the game, you got to be willing to pay the price.
Well, he has paid, as all of you gentlemen have paid over the years in this sport. So there goes the Medic 1 unit. They're going to head off. My guess is to Harborview to check him out, make sure that Steve David is okay. Do you hear the roar in the background? Those are the lights. That's what the unlimited hydroplane sounded like at one time until they went to the Lycoming helicopter engines. The lights take to the course for their race, and here is what the unlimited lights are all about from Bill Rocky.
Although they aren't quite as big or as fast as the Unlimited lights put on quite a show whenever they're out on the water. These boats average 22 feet in length, weighing around 2,500 pounds. They are powered by automotive engines that deliver 900 horsepower, and down the straightaways, they'll reach speeds of up to 160 miles per hour. The top light boat a year ago was the Alamo, driven by Bo Scheid. Once again in 1998, the Alamo is the boat to beat.
We thought it was real crucial this year that in the first 4 races that we performed real well. So when we came out west, that we'd hopefully have a points lead, and that way if there's any trouble, that we'd have some time to regroup. So it's been great. I love this class. I think it's going to be a big future of the sport. And yeah, I'd like to try an unlimited. I've had a couple offers, but I'm not going to step backwards. If I can't get a real good ride, I just as soon stick with the Alamo, because they're a great team and I'm having a lot of fun.
One of Scheid's biggest rivals is the Miss Leroy, driven by Randy Haas. A couple weeks ago in the Tri-Cities, Haas and his crew lost an engine in the first heat. They battled 108-degree temperatures, getting their second engine ready for heat number 2.
30 seconds to the 5 minutes.
And with the help of Unlimited driver Mark Webber, they made it with only seconds to spare.
We enjoy doing what we're doing. I mean, usually it's not as much work as it was today, but people out here get into the boat racing so much. I mean, it's like being up in Canada. You know, we run in Valleyfield, and it's just a little inboard series race, and there's 100,000 people there. I mean, just going nuts over these boats. They'll sit and rain. They can rain all day, and people will sit there. You know, and I see it out here. Here, or Seattle, same way. I mean, people sit in the rain. We race in the rain.
Dave Bilwalk, Nate Brown, and Steve David all drove lights prior to joining the Unlimited. Down the road, don't be too surprised if some of this year's lights drivers move on to the Unlimiteds too.
All right, there you see the Peach Wicked Ale as it comes racing down on the front straightaway, getting ready to go for this final heat with Dave Bender doing the driving. He got bruised up yesterday in competition. We've got about 2 minutes left to go before our start for the final heat of the Unlimited Lights. This boat is the Alamo. Bo Scheid driving. He's the national points leader. There is the Pocket Mechanic leading the Alamo yesterday in Heat 1. And the brand new UL 72 boat, the Newport Bay Restaurant boat with Phil Bonancini, was a winner for the first time.
Being involved in our Seaframe race this weekend. It's great to have.
The second heat, however, it was Alamo, the boat that finished behind the Newport, winning with Bo Scheid driving a very hard race.
I just want to say thanks to the city of Seattle.
In our third heat of the day, Bo Scheid repeats once again, showing why he's the national points leader, defending in 1998.
Beautiful race.
Thank you.
Alamo team, way to go. Got a hat for you.
I want to say thanks to the...
And in Heat 2B, it was the Freddy's Club, the UL 125, the Wildfire Racing team from Nevada down in Las Vegas. Freddy's Club with George Stratton driving.
Okay, you give it up.
George, congratulations on behalf of Kavanaugh's on 5th Avenue, winning Heat 2B today. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the Vino.com, that's the boat from up in Canada. And a lot of folks watching up there in Courtenay, British Columbia right now as Mike McClellan drives that boat. Let's go straight to the racing right now. Everybody trying to get into lane. It looks like Phil Bonancini in the Newport Bay restaurant's going to want lane number 1, but he's way down on power and he's going to be too far down. We're all a little too soon. It looks like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I think we're all right. They possibly have one jumper. That boat might be the Freddy's Club, but let's see. Right now on the outside, that boat that you see on the outside, the white and maroon boat, that one is the Pete's Wicked Ale, and he led him across the line. He appears to have been the only legal starter there, if indeed there was a jump at that point of the up front running boats, but out front and running physically first, it is Freddy's Club. And that boat, the Wildfire, George Stratton doing the driving. Second place, it is the UL 72 Newport Bay Restaurant, and that is Issaquah's own Phil Bonancini. Look at the Pete's Wicked Ale move up inside there with Dave Bender from El Dorado, California. He's getting some very good speed as they dive into that corner. He got knocked around yesterday in his first heat of the day and almost didn't get a chance to finish. Of course, we've got the leader, that's the goldenrod colored boat across the line. First place now with the first lap over with now for the Freddy's Club. The Alamo's also starting to pack inside there as the Newport Bay restaurants and the Pete's Wicked Ale continue to do battle. The Alamo actually a little bit slower than we would have expected Bo Scheid's boat to be. Ned Allen's Alamo is usually right up there at the front. He's in 4th place now, 5th place overall, Vino.com. Up the back chute for the second of 3 times around. It is the Freddy's Club. Yes, there's another Freddy's Club, not the one that went upside down earlier with Steve David driving, but this one with George Stratton at the wheel. This is the Unlimited Light version UL 125. This boat did a complete somersault flip last year in Kelowna, British Columbia, and actually finished the race and drove back into the pits under its own power, if you can believe it. Second place is the Big Red Boat, brand new, a Ron Jones creation. Newport Bay Restaurants with Phil Bonancini from nearby Issaquah at the wheel. Third place, and diving out of the corner, trying to challenge if he can, is the Pete's Wicked Ale. 4th place overall, Alamo. One more lap to go now for the Freddy's Club, and we'll find out if it was a legal start as to whether or not we get a checker or a white flag. It was either right on the money, or I think that the Freddy's Club might have been a touch over the line, but let's see what the officials say about that. George Stratton just owns this thing. He's out of the way of anyone, it seems, and pulling away even further now with his lead in the Freddy's Club. Great battle at the rear end of the race between the... now we've lost the Newport Bay Restaurant, which means that the Alamo and the Pete's Wicked Ale are battling for second place. Now we also have lost the Graham Trucking on the front straightaway.
Which is probably your lead, because I'm more than certain that the lead boat was over the line.
May very well have been the case. Let's see if we get a checker. Yes, it is showing. The checker is showing for Freddy's Club across the line first with George Stratton. Second place now, the Alamo has overtaken the Pete's Wicked Ale, and the yellow boat, the UL 16, is going to pull in second place with Bo Scheid driving, and Dave Bender from El Dorado in the Pete's Wicked Ale third. We've lost all the rest of the competition, including the Vino.com. Mike McClellan from up there in British Columbia has gone dead in the water off the lower corner, and we lost Greg Hopp in the Graham Trucking here on the front straightaway. So presumably, Scott, that was a legal start. I don't know.
Well, it sure as heck wasn't legal from where I was sitting, but, you know, the schedule is getting a little bit behind. We got to get the show on the road.
V-Note is in fact running. It was Miss Leroy that is not running. Here comes the checkered flag now for Mike McClellan in the Vino.com, and I know he's got about 40 or 50 of his friends up there in Courtney, BC, watching us on KIRO. He wants to say hello to you folks and to his mom up in British Columbia, further up. I think she's in Campbell River, if I'm not mistaken, and she's the one that had faith that he'd be a good boat driver, and she's right about it. He's gonna be.
Yeah, just met the young man this morning. He came up and introduced himself and made me feel like an old man. He said, you've always been my hero. I go, I'm not that much older.
He told me you were one of his heroes, and I think you're absolutely right. You are getting old.
It sure looks that way. I'd like to take a moment to extend our condolences to Mike Eakert's building a new one of these new UL boats. It's a beautiful boat that Kurt Taverner's put together for him, and they lost one of their able-bodied crewmen this last week in an auto accident. I know they're all grieving, and so hey to Joe, we're all thinking of you.
Limiteds, unlimiteds. This is one big family out here, isn't it?
It really is. We all started in these, or a derivative of them, and you work your way up, and if you get lucky, get your breaks, away you go. But Mike Eakert was somebody that raced unlimiteds. He had that devastating accident in the Old Boy Alberto in Tri-Cities a couple years ago. But he's built this boat. I was just down looking at it last week, and I got to tell you, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I said, if you don't hurry up and get it done, I'm going to come down there and finish it and climb in it myself. It's really a nice part.
Here's George Stratton climbing out of the race boat. He won in Tri-Cities. He was a loser up in Kelowna, British Columbia. He's back on top again, and he's got a great battle for national points going with the 16 boat, the Alamo. George Stratton hails from Las Vegas. The KG Racing, Kim Gilbert's boat, also from Las Vegas. The fellow is the owner of the boat, Kim Gilbert, is a air conditioning contractor, builds all the air conditioning systems into all those hotels on the Las Vegas Strip. And these guys are talking about a possible unlimited in the future. Freddy's Club first, Alamo second, third, the Peach Wicked Ale, fourth, the MissVino.com. Score did not finish for the Newport Bay Restaurant, although she was in the thick of it for a while. Graham Trucking also went down in the water, so did the Miss Leroy. And unfortunately, the Apex Industries Best Western South Center Blue and Engine yesterday didn't get in to the finals today.
All right, here's Tony Ventrella with your winner. Tony.
Got our winner, George Stratton. I tell you, it's been kind of an up and down day for some of the boats, but at least one of the Freddies is looking okay.
Yeah, a lot of help from the Freddies guys. They really slaved their butts off helping us all this weekend. We really can't appreciate it enough. Thank them very, very much. Steve, my other teammate here, he's floating around out there upside down. It's really, really a shame. But the wildfire deal here, yeah, we go out and we run hard every time we do it.
You think the fans like the lights? I think they do. That's the feeling I get. What do you think?
I know I do. I wish you could go just a little bit faster, but for a little carbureted piece here, we can go out there and average 110, 112 miles an hour around there. That's pretty good. Put a show on for the spectators. We love to do it.
Well, you know what's good? It's noisy, it's competitive, and it's fun. So those three things add up to a good afternoon for the viewers, I think.
A lot of wild fun. That's what we're here for.
All right, nice coat. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, the Unlimited Lights finals are over. You do have a happy camper on this side of the pits, even though the other Freddy's Club, as I said, has had a bad day. By the way, we're going to try and catch up with Steve David, although I think they've taken him over to the hospital. If he comes back, we'll get him for you. Back to you, Steve.
All right, Tony Ventrella. Noisy, competitive fun. Sounds like the KIRO 7 Sports Department, a member of which is Bill Wixie. Bill.
Thank you, Steve. Standing by with Bo Scheid, the National High Points leader. A good performance today. You pleased with that run?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's just great. There in Seattle, the water was super, and I knew there was going to be 2 or 3 boats trying to get the inside, and I just tried to put that out of my mind and let me drive the race course. And I knew they were going to be early, and I was a little bit earlier than I wanted to be, but I wanted to keep my lane. I almost got it taken away coming around for the start, but I laid back and just sucked it up and went into the first corner, got a little wet, and I knew at least 3 or 4 boats jumped the gun, and then after about a lap they told me, and I picked off another one. Just a great win here in Seattle.
Yes, sure. Tell me about the difference between racing a light boat in these conditions as opposed to the heavier ones we're seeing today.
I'll tell you, the Alamo's a great boat on most any kind of water. Today was pretty well conditioned perfect. Our boats are less than half the unlimited boats. We're about 2,500 pounds with 900 horsepower, and we'll run about 160 in a straightaway. The unlimiteds are a little over 6,000 pounds with about 3,000 horsepower. They'll run about 200, but size to speed-wise, we're an awesome package.
Terrific. Bo Scheid, the National High Points leader, and the Alamo back upstairs.
All right, we've got more racing. We've got gifts to give away. Oh my word, this is like Truth or Consequences. Stand by. Got vacation time coming up for Deanne. Meantime, Tony Ventrella, who would like a vacation, doesn't get one. He's got to work. Tony?
The continuing saga of Graham Trucking continues to be a saga. To repeat myself, Donna Lawton, back here again. You tried, you got extra time because of the blowover.
We did.
The extra time didn't even help, did it?
No, we thought the extra time would buy us that just to change gearboxes and get it in, but Mike and Lori Jones has decided that it wasn't enough time, and so we decided to withdraw. So provisional or no provisional, we're out of the game.
All right, Donna. Well, good luck next week, I guess. Is that
Well, no, actually, we've got 5 weeks now till San Diego.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you got a little break.
We've
That
got
should buy you
some
some time.
break. Yeah, that'll
Let's
buy
go
us
over.
big time.
Thanks, Donna. Let's go over to Bill Rocket.
Ash up there, is it ready to go?
You bet. She's ready to go.
You guys are sitting pretty good here going in the final.
Yeah, we don't have to go out and run real hard. Lumar Window Film Boat's been doing good all day, and we got ourselves in a position where we can kind of take it easy, save the boat, and still get into the final. But we'll try and make a race out of it.
What do you think of the conditions right now?
Conditions look really good. Might get a little bit rough, bouncing off the log boom, things like that, but we'll do what we got to do. Gets too rough, we'll take it a little easy. We want to get in the final and win that.
That's the bottom line, right?
You bet.
All right, Steve, back to you.
Thanks.
That's always the bottom line, Bill. Winning, and we have a winning presentation down on the stage in front of us.
Quit kissing.
Stand up, Bo.
On the presentation stage right now, the Unlimited Lights final winner.
On behalf of the race sponsored by Kahlua, I'd like to present you with the trophy for winning the Unlimited Lights. So this is Bo Shai, the winner of today's event.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
I want to thank Kahlua for sponsoring the finals, Texaco, the Seafair, and I'll tell you what, this Alamo crew up here just gives me an awesome boat. The wind wasn't pretty, but I knew everybody was a little bit early, and I wanted to hang back because I did not want to be called for jumping the gun, and things worked out real well. The boat held together, and it's a good, safe victory and for a great team. Thanks.
Congratulations, Bo. Here are the official results now from the Unlimited Lights finals. It was the Alamo first with the second boat, Freddy's Club third, Pete's Wicked Ale fourth. And we'll be back with the completion of Heat 3B in just a moment.
Heat 3B is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. And presented for Seafair by Simrad Incorporated, worldwide manufacturer of marine electronics.
Well, time to talk about the three boats that are left in Heat 3B, the Appian Geronimo, Lumar Window Film, and Pico American Dream. Let's begin with the Appian Geronimo, Mike.
Appian Geronimo healthy with 2 tail feathers now, with some assistance from the guys at the Easter Seals boat. And Mitch has still got lots of boat speed. Look for him to be real tough for his brother to beat. His brother must beat him in the Pico. But Mitch is definitely looking good this afternoon. He's got a couple of wins under his belt already.
Lumar Window Film and Nate Brown at the controls.
This is a spoiler, of course, Steve. These guys, the two Mitch and Mark Evans brothers, are going to go at it neck and neck, and this is the fella who could really upset the whole apple cart for them. Nate Brown is fast. His boat is as quick as any of them out there, and he is a crafty driver, so watch what happens. This guy's going to get in the way. Mark, even though we had the flip and a delay in time, he still has the same task in front of him he had before. He's got to win Heat 3B in order to get into the final with enough points. Otherwise, he'll have to struggle a little bit. Unfortunately, he could wind up being a trailer boat in the final, although we probably will not have a provisional heat because 2 boats are now, 1 withdrawn and 1 broken. We probably will not have a provisional, but that would make him the trailer boat if the points stay right now the way they are. So he definitely has got to get some points here.
Coming back with about 2:20 to go before the clock started. We understand now the provisional has been canceled. Is that official?
Well, yes, they have 7 boats left in the race, and they're going to put 6 boats up on the front line, and the 7th boat in points is going to be the trailer, which is going to help us get back on schedule somewhat, too.
That's right, it'll do that, but right now Mark is the guy that would be the 7th boat in points at this point, so he really does need to get himself moved up to the front row, and that's what this heat will be all about.
You know, I was going to ask the question, does what happened at 3B earlier with the blowover by Steve David, does that tell these drivers at all, get your foot out of it a little bit and let's get through 3B and get to the final? But again, Mike, you make the point. For Mark Evans, he can't do that.
No, there's a place up there, it tells them where there's trouble, and you're going to have to drive through it at speed, so think about that.
Well, these guys have already forgotten that Steve David even flipped.
Really?
It's the absolute furthest thing from their mind, and it has to be.
I guess you have to do that, don't you?
You have to focus, and you can't focus thinking about some guy, even if he's your best buddy, going over on his back. And, you know, you're just glad it's not you.
Looks like Mark Evans is going to be aggressive about wanting the inside lane. He's going to be real stubborn about giving up to either Nate or to brother Mitch in this situation. And really, Mitch has got enough boat speed that he doesn't have to battle for the inside lane. The guy he has to watch out for who might screw up his plans is Nate Brown.
And Nate Brown's going to, mark my words, he's going to swing through the infield prior to the corner. There he goes. To take the inside away from Mark Evans. They've been doing it all day. You know, Mark should know that.
Just as the 1 minute gun sounds, he has done it. Now, the question is who's going to get up to that double lash buoy first? And Mark actually can make a shot for it, but as soon as they get up to what amounts to the entry pin to the Unlimited Lights north turn, and they're just 500 feet away from it right now, Nate Brown will own lane number 1. That one is settled. And it looks as though Mark, once again, has decided he will go outside. Mitch is actually in the middle now.
No, that's a bigger problem. He can get by with the Lumar inside of him, but he can't get by being on the outside of his brother. He needs to be in the inside of Mark Evans, of Mitch Evans.
So the inside lane boat will be the Lumar Window Films with Nate Brown at the wheel, the Appian Geronimo with Mitch Evans in lane 2, and on the outside Mark Evans in the Pico. They're coming to the line, and there looks to be enough time to get the job done before anybody gets there too soon. We got down to 0, and it is Mitch who leads them across the line from the middle lane, and is starting to press down into turn number 1 out on top, and he outruns Nate Brown, but it looks like Mark has some boat speed too on the outside as he goes through the corner.
He does, but he's just made the job so difficult for himself by going around the outside. It's going to take some kind of effort to drive around the outside of his brother.
It is indeed, to try to drive around the inside of his brother is Nate Brown. He's staying in there right now. He is side by side with Mark through the rooster tail of the Appian Geronimo. Neither one able to see each other at this point. Mitch Evans, your leader. That's Nate Brown tucking inside there in the yellow boat, and there comes Mark on the outside, and he's got a great big track to go around. Certainly not what he would prefer to do, but he's got some boat speed, and he's starting to come along strong on the outside as he moves down the front straightaway. The end of lap number 1, he'll actually cross the line in second place.
Well, it's one heck of a boat race, so I'll tell you that. They're really going at it.
It is indeed. That's Mitch, that's Mark, and that's Nate in that order.
Nate just took a whole bunch of rooster tail water, and he's bailed out of this deal. He's just going to watch it from behind now.
He has definitely slopped the decks there pretty badly, and that puts him back, and he will not make any further challenge. In the meantime, Mitch and Mark show, we used to see these in lesser boats, and they were nowhere near as interesting as this. Now we're seeing them in front-running equipment, and it becomes very interesting all of a sudden.
But we've never seen it with Mitch in front, so this is a new deal. Mark has always whooped on his brother pretty hard, and the younger brother's giving the older brother a little driving lesson here now.
Pride of Chelan and Wenatchee right here.
They both grew up in Chelan, and actually their father drove for my father 25 years ago, and we all grew up together and summered in Chelan. They're having the time of their lives, but and Mark Evans isn't as happy as Mitch Evans at this point.
It's absolutely true. These guys have been knocking heads with snowmobiles, anything with a motor in it. I think they would race Ryder lawnmowers no matter how fast they go. They just plain love to compete. If it's got a motor, they're after each other in no time. But this time, Mitch is showing some superiority, a position he's never been able to enjoy, as you mentioned, not only over Mark, but over the rest of the field as well. And he definitely owns it now. The Appian Geronimo is headed for 3-4-3 here in the Texaco Cup at Seafair, and is looking like a boat to beat out here in the final heat. Off the final corner, 1,000 feet to the finish line. Here comes the winner, Appian Geronimo, Mitch Evans. Second place, Pico, the American Dream, with Mark Evans at the wheel. And third place coming through the upper corner, and not in the contest after a lap and a half, it is the Lumar Window Films with Nate Brown. Sucked a little water, decided not to stay in the fracas, and he will finish, get scored points, and he'll definitely be a front runner in the final.
And we'll have to look at the points real quick, but that could very potentially have put the Pico ahead of the Easter Seals Chaplain boat for the 6th spot. Maybe they radioed him that, but you know Mark Evans, he was trying as hard as he could. His brother's got a fast boat. They've won 3 straight heats today.
Here's the unofficial standings. I'm sorry, Michael. The unofficial standings right now with the Appian Geronimo and Mitch Evans, brother Mark and Pico in second place in Lumar window film, and Nate Brown at the wheel finishes up third. And again, if you're just joining us, the fourth boat that was in the Heat 3B but has been restarted was Freddie's Club. Steve David off to the hospital to get checked out after being injured in a blowover. That boat, by the way, has finally been towed back to the finger pier at the Freddie's Club end of the pits as the Geronimo slows down and moves back into its slip. It looked like a used car lot around here for a few minutes. They were towing in limiteds that had died, and now an upside-down hydroplane, unlimited. Freddie's Club is still in the water out here just to our right in the pits.
Mitch and Mark sure have a good time racing with each other. They crossed the in front of us here at the start-finish line, headed back to the pit area. They're both looking at each other, waving, gyrating, and reliving the moment.
Yeah, this isn't going to be the prettiest sight in the world. They're getting ready to sling the Harvey boat over, and it's not going to be pretty when you see the upper side of that boat.
140.5 miles an hour for Mitch Evans. Pico American Dream 137. So what can we assume? That Mark did not get the bullet he was looking for, or he's saving the bullet for the final once he knew he had second place?
Well, I think that's all the bullet they have to put in the boat right now. I mean, at least that's what we've seen. If they have something better on the floor, they really needed to put it in it. They would be in a lot better position had they won the heat.
Yeah, I'd look for an engine change this time out. I think if they've got their best bullet, maybe still on the ground. I think that was the strategy this morning. They needed the points. They thought this particular one would run strong enough at least to get them second place, and I think that will slide them into a frontline start at least.
Tony Ventrello's in the pits with the latest for us. Tony.
Well, Nate Brown took a little more water than you had in mind and decided at that point, hey, what the heck, let's just do the final.
This is a water sport. You're going to get wet, you know. You stick your nose in there, it's going to get wet.
Don't start telling nose jokes now.
Okay. Anyway, it was that was a great run for a lap or so, you know. Mitch had some boat speed on me, and as soon as it looked like he was going to take an advantage, and I'm sure it was 5 boat lengths, and I instead of staying in there and looking stupid, I lifted and let those boys go have it out. And I think Mark owes me a little bit because I think they needed to get second to make the final, and he kind of smiled and winked when we were out there, and I figured, yeah, Mark probably needs to get in that final, you know. So anyway, it was a lot of fun for Lumar Window Films, and you know, for Freddie's Club, it's too bad because they were a contender here, you know, and hopefully they'll get it all back together. Not for the final because it looks like the boat's in a couple pieces.
I think so too. And so is one of Steve David's toes. Well, listen, thank you, and let's.
Are you still on?
Yeah, we got a second here.
When it was raining really bad and Tony got really, you know, wet, I think he's missing a little bit of it right here.
Oh, much better. Oh, yeah. I missed those days.
Mad at me now, you know.
Thank you, Nate. No, that's the first shower I've had in 2 weeks. Let's toss it over to Bill Wixie.
All right, Tony, they're having a pretty good time over here in the Appian pits as well. John Walters, the crew chief, apparently that new tail fin is doing the job.
Oh, it makes all the difference in the world. The boat rolls over on its nose and slams around and bangs real hard without it on there. But now the boat ride was better, but the reason the boat ride was better is because of these guys that are behind me here. The Appian Geronimo crew, these guys have busted their tails all summer long, and finally it's starting to pay off a little bit for us. So we still got the big dance to go to, but we've got a lot of work to do between now and then. But I think we've got the guys in the boat and certainly the driver to put on a pretty good show here for the final heat. So I think we'll be ready.
All right, Mitch Evans and the Appian Geronimo getting their chance to take on the Bud in just a little bit. We'll send it back upstairs. Steve?
Bill, speaking of the Bud, driver Dave Vilwalk is down on the presentation stage just in front of us.
Hi, I'm Catherine Ferrero with Sprint PCS. I'm proud to be the sponsor of the Texaco Cup at Seafair Unlimited Hydro Race Fastest Qualifying Lap. Congratulations to Dave Vilwalk from the Miss Budweiser with a qualifying time of over 156 miles per hour. Great job, Dave. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, we built some big speed earlier this week, and we're hoping we can convert that speed into the final heat. So we'll see what happens. Just got to get our nose out front. If we can do that, I think we can pull this thing off.
Good luck.
Thanks.
That's Dave Vilwalk, a little bit of cagey driving talk. Get his nose out front. We know about that. Stand by, more racing coming up. We got the finals of the Seafair Texaco Cup.
Heat 3B has been brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. And presented for Seafair by Simrad Incorporated, worldwide manufacturer of marine electronics.
For those of you keeping score at home, and you all know how to do that, don't you? Here are the points today so far at Texaco Cup at Seafair 1998. You've got the Appian Geronimo at 1,200 points. John Walters and company over there have that boat running and running well. 3 straight victories in 3 heats. They've got the tail feathers on. They're going to run all out in the final heat against the Budweiser. Budweiser at 1,100 points, of course, penalized in the heat where they jumped the start. The Lumar window film still comes in at 750 points with Nate Brown, Elam Plus, followed by Tweeton's Mart, Pico American Dream, and Mark Evans, the Chaplin's Volkswagen, Freddie's Club, and Steve David. That boat is done for the day. Graham Trucking is also done for the day. Meantime, the national high point standing, we see that the Appian Geronimo has now moved up into the 4th spot. So it's the Evans brothers at 3 and 4. Although after the final, who knows? You may see Appian move up yet again. Bill Wixie is in the pits.
All right, standing by live with Mitch Evans, driver of the Appian Geronimo. 3 for 3 on the day. You move into 4th place in the point standings. You got to be very pleased.
Oh yeah, what an awesome day. I mean, the guys have just been working like crazy. I've been going out. I mean, the boat's running good. We're losing a few parts, but able to really put the whole deal together. We're going to have an awesome boat for the final, and we're going to have a heck of a race.
How much did the delay affect the repair of the boat?
We kind of had it all in progress. We knew that we weren't going to make it for the heat, but actually the delay did. I mean, I was able to get it back on the boat. We can dial the thing in, you know, and now we know we're ready to go.
Okay, how do you run with the Bud in the final?
Man, you just got to run hard, flat out. You know, you need lane position on them, and hopefully get out front. You got to, you know, get through that first corner real clean, you know, and let everybody go. So it's going to be a heck of a race.
Are you going to time that start? Is that the key?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I've got some timing points out there. I don't pay attention to anybody else. I just try to get my job done, and everything else just kind of falls in line.
All right, Mitch Evans and the Appian Geronimo, the star of the day here so far. Will they be the star in the final? That remains to be seen. Steve?
Well, there's a team in a big red truck down there that might have something to say about that, Bill Wixie. Meantime, Tony Ventrella has been prowling the pits for us. Tony?
Well, you know, Lauren's needed a haircut. I promised him last year, so this is the only thing I can find. I'm giving him a trim. How's this boat run as you get ready for the final here, Lauren?
The boat? I'm worried about what you're doing to my hair.
Hey, listen, with this pair of scissors you gave me, you've got no choice, pal.
Well, you know,
I'll do with your hair whatever it comes out, whatever the result is. But how's the boat running?
My boat's running real good, but my man Russ is going to be very unhappy if you mess up my dude.
Oh, man. A rusty pair of scissors. They got all the best equipment except for barber tools. Hey, listen, we'll be back. Let me finish this up. The Budweiser are very confident about a win here. Whoa, no. I'm sorry.
Tony.
Back to you, Steve.
Hey, guess we're here. Some guy named Mark Evans, kind of been climbing the ladder all day. You're in the final, though.
Finally, I guess we needed second place just to get into the final. Thank goodness we got it, finally.
It's kind of strange. Your brother is in front of you almost all the time now. What's the deal there?
Well, I think I need that boat back. That used to be in our camp at one time, but no, I'm proud of him, man. Those guys have worked really hard in the Appian boat. Mitch is a heck of a driver, and he's been running real strong.
You weren't sure there like an hour ago whether you were going to get in.
No.
Now that you look ahead, can you win this thing?
Hey, anything can happen when we get in the final. We were about in the same position up at Kelowna, and we come storming through in a start and won the race. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it. The boat seems to be handling pretty good, and we've got the best engine that we've got in the whole camp, and it's running well. They weren't leaving me by any means, so anything can happen in that final. Maybe we'll get them.
All right, Steve, the defending champ still has a chance.
Hi, Mom. How are you doing? Brothers are doing good.
All right, we'll pass that along to Mom from the Evans brothers. I assume Mom is back in Chelan watching right now. We'll pass along our best wishes. Hope she's watching. Hope you're enjoying. It's the Texaco Cup at Seafair 1998. We've still got the final heat to come. The air show continues, and well, we're just all having a great time. Come back.